Time now for the starting goalies, brought to you by Honda. And for the home team, Carolina Hurricanes, in this their third game, the second start for Cam Ward, who admits he wasn't very good in the season opener in this building against the New York Islanders, but told us earlier today he does feel better about his overall game. We'll see how he responds tonight. Down at the other end for the Buffalo Sabres, Jonas Enroth. In this their fourth game, he is making his third appearance. His last game, a 6-2 loss in Chicago, a game that was a one-goal game in the third period, which has been a problem period for the Buffalo Sabres so far in this young season. Dave Strader up in the broadcast booth, and Brian Engblom is our man inside the glass. And we are ready for this opening faceoff. Cody Hobson, number 19, back at center ice for Ted Nolan. Lost the draw to Nash, and now Gerby for the Hurricanes puts it across in front of Enroth. Marcus Foligno, number 82, out here on the line with Chris Stewart and Cody Hobson. Foligno did not play in the game yesterday afternoon. A little bit banged up, according to Coach Nolan, but he's back. And Cody Hobson, Brian, who had been playing on the wing, is back at center ice.
Yeah, he played both center and wing last year. I talked to Hodgson this morning. He said, yeah, the last 10 games of the season last year I was wing, played a lot of center. He played wing in the World Championships, did Hodgson as well, and played very well there. But tonight, he's in between two big forwards. I expect this to be a key line for them. Foligno and Stewart. That's a terrific line with Hodgson in the middle.
Elias Lindholm dumped it into the Buffalo zone. Here's Foligno trying to clear it up the far side. Falk tried to get there to hold it in, but Drew Stafford did a good job of tying up his stick, and so the Hurricanes forced to go all the way back behind their own net. Yuri Tlusty coming off his second career hat trick in a loss on the island, as this play was whistled down offside. As we take a look at the head coaches in tonight's matchup, Bill Peters, I mentioned in the pregame, last 3 years an assistant coach under Mike Babcock in Detroit. He spoke to a couple other teams, including Pittsburgh and Florida, about their head coaching vacancies, but took the job here in Carolina. Of course, Ted Nolan replaced Ron Ralston a little over a month into last season's second stint behind the bench for Ted Nolan with Buffalo.
Both these teams are winless so far in the season, but I expect a very competitive game here. Buffalo is just plain angry at themselves for the way they played against Anaheim. And you know, Carolina back here at home, they've had troubles in their own end. They want to get that first win as well, too, even though they're shorthanded.
Sakara plays it on the far side. Jay McClemens circling the Buffalo goal, number 18 for Carolina. Hands it off down low, but it bounced off the stick of Patrick Brown, and now Brown trying to recover it. He's the son of former NHLer Doug Brown. Both father and son played their college hockey at Boston College. Out at the line now, it is held in by the Hurricanes. Middle of the ice, Sakara plays it on the far side. Falk to the net, bouncing, puck fires just wide. An opportunity right in front of the Buffalo net there for Jay McClemens. Now a turnover by the Sabres. It comes back off the stick of Brad Malone, number 24. A pretty good shift for that line.
Both of these teams have really struggled inside their own zone. Coaches have said the same things. Carolina's had the puck too much on the wall in their own end, and they've had trouble getting it off. They've turnovers. Well, Buffalo just did the same thing, turned it over on the wall, and then Carolina got it right to the front of the net.
Benoit played it ahead. Gleason got a stick on it. Now it's turned right back by Gergensen. Torrey Mitchell, and that play is just offside at the Carolina blue line.
Buffalo giving up a couple of chances early here. Good work by Carolina on the forecheck. They get the puck off the wall, get it to the front of the net. And Buffalo just not paying enough attention. That was Jay McClemens, who was all alone in front of the net for a second. Couldn't get the puck onto his stick play quickly enough, but did get a shot. Jonas Enroth had to make a save there. Enroth in 2 games has seen 87 shots.
Just incredible the number of shots that Buffalo has given up, Brian, so far in this young season. Now Josh George's turn to Lusty, able to move it in toward the Buffalo crease, and it's covered up there by Jonas Enroth.
Jonas Enroth is supposed to be fighting for the #1 job with Michael Neuwirth. That's the way it's set up this year. Enroth had a terrific camp. Neuwirth is coming along, but he was slower to start. Enroth, I said a moment ago, has seen a lot of rubber. There's Michael Neuwirth. He played the last game against Anaheim, and Anaheim was the game where the Sabres gave up 44 shots, and total shots directed towards the net was over 70. So Buffalo will be looking to do a lot better job in that department.
Here is Nathan Gerby, a former Buffalo Sabre, trying to play it around on the far side. Hainsey moves in from the right point. And if you take shots attempted at the net by both teams yesterday afternoon, it was 75-35 in favor of Anaheim over the Buffalo Sabres. As it's angled off the boards here by Sekera, got as far as center ice. It's turned back by the youngster Reinhart, the second overall pick in the NHL draft last June. And speaking of the draft, congratulations to Buffalo. Commissioner Gary Bettman announcing that the 2016 draft will be held in Buffalo. It'll be the third time that great hockey city will host the entry draft. Now Sekera plays it ahead into the Buffalo zone. It's knocked down by Ristolainen. Now it is Stewart who plays it across in front of the Carolina goal to the far side. Foligno doing a bump there by Murphy. Foligno lost the battle there. Good job by the young defenseman Ryan Murphy. He's 21 years of age. Now back the other way around. Drive here on a save made by Enroth. That was Zach Boychuk. He's called up from Charlotte of the American Hockey League. Out here on a fourth line with Chris Terry, number 25.
A pretty good guy to have on the fourth line. Zach Boychuk, 36 goals last year, the most in the American Hockey League. He went to the net well, but it was Ryan Murphy breaking the puck out of the zone with those good legs that started to play.
Yeah, Boychuk, a former first-round pick of the Hurricanes back in 08, when he was the 14th pick overall. Now Gerby trying to keep this pressure on in the Buffalo zone. Sabres get to it. Harrison at the point, able to keep it in there for Carolina. Now Toulouse hands it off. Here is Semin turning. Alexander Semin tries to send it in front. And it's turned back the other way. Now Toulouse hands it off. Harrison shot blocked aside by Enroth. Now played out to center ice, and Tyler Ennis has it there. Ennis, Molson, and Stafford. Only two players have accounted for the 4 goals that Buffalo has scored so far this season. Tyler Ennis has 2 goals, and Girgensons has the other 2.
Tyler Ennis is a very fiery guy, and after that game in Anaheim yesterday, he's one of the ones that spoke up and said, we got to play mad. We got to get mad out there. He's usually playing with a burr under his saddle there, and pretty good first line for them. Let's go back to that last Carolina breakout, though. And Ryan Murphy just getting the puck and just flying up the wing. He had room outside, makes a really nice cross-ice pass, and there's Boychuk loading and firing there. Gets a good shot. Enroth tracking the puck very well. Couldn't quite control the rebound, but they were able to clear it away at the same time. Well done, though, by Murphy using his wheels coming out of the zone for Carolina.
Now McClement and Stafford, but
both these teams are challenged, especially Carolina, with who's going to play center ice for them. And center ice is such an important position with both stalls out for Carolina. It's tough.
Now McClement with a backhand attempt. Wherever the defenseman for Buffalo is able to deflect that, and it's back out at center ice, just over the stick of Ennis. And now it is fired back in wide of the Buffalo goal, and this will be an icing call here. And we'll remind you to watch live out-of-market games with NHL Game Center Live. One subscription lets you watch on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and connected devices. Visit NHL.com/GCL.
Jay McClement's out there for Carolina right now at center. They have Riley Nash and Victor Rask and Chris Terry. Guys with not a lot of experience at the center ice position. And boy, over these last couple of years, especially, center ice, such an important role.
Myers will drive here, and Ward with his first test of the game tonight. Now back out high, the Sabres going on the attack. Here's Girgensons with a shot, and Ward with Mitchell right in his grill, able to make that stop. Now turning is Brown to play it off the far boards. And McClement got it out to center ice in front of the Buffalo bench. It's played off a stick and recovered by the Sabres. Lead pass now, and an opportunity for Giunta. A save made by Ward. Ryan Giunta with a good opportunity up the right wing, and now the puck over the glass and out of play. 6 minutes in the books here in Raleigh. It is scoreless.
Both of these teams trying to play better in their own zone. Buffalo Sabres a couple of times not so good, like Benoit coming up the middle. That's a turnover directly to Carolina. Comes back inside the zone. Heads up by Weber. A nice cross-ice pass. That's better. Stafford moving the puck out of the zone. The second pass doesn't work. And then good work in the neutral zone and the quick pass up the ice to Brian Gionta on that last shift with Carolina on a line change. That was a good scoring chance, the best they've had.
Mitchell won the draw from Rask. Now the puck is knocked back along the boards behind the Hurricanes net. Gleason up the far side. And it's deflected out to center ice. Here comes Rask on the move. Had to send it across in front.
That was a great stick by Girgensons on the back check there to stop that pass.
A giveaway here by the Hurricanes, but the Sabres unable to get it through to Cam Ward. Now Mitchell again sends it out to the line for Myers. Tees it up, intentionally fired it wide off the lively end boards here at PNC Arena. Back to the line, Myers again. Fakes, changes the angle. Now just sends it to the corner.
Changing!
Now Lindholm able to send it out toward the line. Gleason chips it around Foligno. Now Carolina back in their own zone as Buffalo completing a change. Gleason plays it ahead. Sent by Brown deep into the Buffalo zone. Settled down by Enroth. Played around on the far side. Stewart got a stick on it. Couldn't clear. Now in front. And Boychuk just missed collecting that one.
That was just a little sloppy. It looked like a good start to the breakout there by Buffalo. Stewart couldn't control the puck in the middle of the ice, and all of a sudden, Carolina's got a bid towards the net.
Hodgson plays it ahead. Here is Stewart. Chris Stewart looks across. Mishandled, but now makes the pass, and it was just a bit late. Now Foligno tees one up. That was blocked in the face-off circle. Controlled, though, by the Sabres. Sent back to the near corner. Stewart, who played only 5 games after coming over from St. Louis in that Ryan Miller deal. And as Brown sends one in the glove of Enroth.
Yeah, it's like Stewart's new to the team again. Because he only played those 5 games once he came over from St. Louis last year. It was a shame for him and for the Sabres. He needs to stay healthy. Chris Stewart's got so much talent.
Now the stretch pass attempt was knocked out by Stafford. Recovered, though. And sent by Riley Nash in behind Enroth. Settles it down there. He'll try to play it up on the glass. He did, but it's knocked down. Now Ennis for the Sabres. Couldn't get it up the wall. Canes with some pressure again. Seven. Hands it off high slot. A quick shot here by Gerby. Deflected wide. Now Sakura, the defenseman, down below the goal line. Seven trying to duck underneath the check. Keeps his feet moving. Chips it out toward the line, but Ennis in good position there. Sends it across for Stafford. Drew Stafford. Turns it along the end boards. A battle there behind Cam Ward. Puck comes free. Stafford, right wing corner. Hands it off. Here's Ennis. Waited a fraction too long. And Nash out at center ice. Checked on the play there by Georges. Now recovers, tries to get it deep. Could not. The Sabres have it again.
That's the best way to prevent having to break out of your own zone is the Buffalo Sabres standing up in the neutral zone and turning the puck over there by Georges. Good job by him.
Now Myers halfway up the boards on the right side, but the Hurricanes get it back. Enroth takes a look over his shoulder, decides to play it back the far side. Now it comes back behind the net. Here is Lindholm getting it to the blue paint area, knocked away by Georges and cleared out to center ice. Now McClement couldn't handle it. Back the other way, Gionta met by John Michael Lyles, number 26. Lyles and Gleason, Brian, a defense tandem. 2 guys that were traded for each other last year.
Yeah.
As the shot is deflected right in on Ward.
2 different kinds of players. John Michael Lyles, much more nimble on his feet, and Gleason, bigger, tougher, more physical guy. Watch Zemgus Girgensson, number 28 in white, come back through the middle of the ice. That's just good hustle. The Buffalo Sabres said they were angry. They said they needed more work ethic in this game. That's work ethic. That's coming back full speed on a very dangerous rush by Carolina. Good on Girgensons there.
Rask winning the draw. Comes across now for Hainsey, number 65. Rolls it in deep. Here is Rask. Victor Rask, young Swedish-born player that Bill Peters talked about this morning, saying a terrific two-way talent. As we're Well past the halfway mark of this first period. Scoreless in Raleigh. When we come back, we'll hear from the Canes head coach, Bill Peters.
This morning, you wanted to see your team have maybe a win 2-1 attitude. Are you seeing that attitude out there?
Well, I like our start. I think we've got a little bit of jump. I think we got to have a little more puck poise in the D zone. There's plays to be made. We just got to support each other and talk.
Thank you.
Now, Bill Peters, as you saw, first season as Carolina coach, his first head coaching job in the National Hockey League. I mentioned earlier, 3 years an assistant under Mike Babcock on that fine staff in Detroit. He's been a head coach, Bill Peters, though, at other times in his career, Canadian university level, Western Hockey League juniors in the American Hockey League as well.
He just waited his time for an opportunity there, and he's earned his stripes, certainly, and I'm sure he'll do a terrific job here in Carolina.
Delorier plays it ahead. McCormick backhands one in on Ward that he steers aside. And the puck comes loose along the near boards. And Naz trying to work it up the boards, decides to go back the other way for Hainsey. Now Murphy pushes it ahead, and the Hurricanes able to get it out to center ice. Shots are 4-3 Buffalo. They've not had a penalty yet in the game. Cam Ward settles it down behind the net for Hainsey. Hands it off McClement. Up the right wing side now for Brown. Takes it wide. Weber played him well. Brown, though, persevered to get a stick on it again, and now Sam Reinhart able to slide it across. Mason Strachan in the lineup for Buffalo, number 24. On defense. There's McClement across the line. It comes back. Malone, rink wide, hands it off. Bump with his head up all the way. He tried to pick a corner, didn't he, Brian? It comes back out now. Zakharov with a shot that's deflected wide.
Yeah, Weber was right in front of the net. Falk had more room on the far side. Chose to go short side and blew it over the net.
Now McClement sends it out to the point. Falk across for his partner Zakharov. Makes a nice move on Stewart. Boy, he's a confident player. Got chopped down, no arm in the air, no whistle coming. And all of a sudden, Stewart, along with Foligno, a 2-on-1, sends it across. Foligno, he scores! And Sekera may be shaken up, Brian, as he tried to get back, and he went hard into the end boards, trying to catch up to Foligno.
Did he ever? He just kind of blew a tire. He was coming back really hard, and his skates failed him. He crashed into the end boards. He was up on the ice, and Dave, I thought there might have been a penalty call as well, too. In the middle of the ice, number 4 in red. And this is about as long as I've seen any 2-on-1 in the National Hockey League. A lot of time there because all 3 forwards for Carolina were well up on the play as well. Look at Stewart. Has so much time and room for Foligno. Makes a really good pass to Foligno. Foligno had an immediate open net. I thought he had waited too long. He made a little bit of a move, but obviously still was able to score the goal. But then Sekera coming back at full speed crashes into the net, and he is shaken up. He is their top defenseman. He had a terrific year last year. He had 11 goals and 44 points. He's got some terrific moves offensively, but it's his ability to come out, get the puck, and come out of the zone. That's what makes all the difference, and he is definitely struggling, getting up onto his feet there.
Well, when he made the move in the offensive end and then got taken down, another Carolina player went down at the same time. And you're right, once that puck was cleared ahead for Stewart, it was a long-range 2-on-1.
Yeah. Well, Sekera made a move in the offensive zone, and then I'm not sure who put the stick on him, but he certainly went down. And all 3 forwards are then caught in the zone. Here's Sekera making the move, and that's on Foligno. He dives ahead. So you know what? And second look at it there, I think he was just making a diving play. But then here you come at the end, and he tripped over his own goaltender. That's what it was. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you could see he was still almost airborne when he went into the boards.
So Stewart and Strachan assist on Foligno's goal, his first of the season.
The only fortunate thing, I guess, for Carolina is they did dress 7 defensemen in this game.
Right.
So they'll still have 6 healthy bodies back there.
And with all the injuries up front, they did recall Zach Boychuk from Charlotte to the American League, but decided against another recall.
Well, Ron Hainsey played in Game 1, did not play in Game 2. They wanted him back into the lineup. So fortunately for them in this situation, that they still have 6 healthy D.
Whistle down for an icing call. The faceoff going back into the Buffalo zone.
Unfortunate what's happened injury-wise to Carolina. You don't wish this at any time of the year, but when you have both Eric and Jordan Staal out of the lineup, Jeff Skinner hasn't played yet, although he did skate this morning and is very close to coming back. And Patrick Dwyer, who's a very underrated player for Carolina, all of them out of the lineup, 4 of their top 9 forwards.
Yeah, we were talking about those top 3, Brian, and Bill Peters said, well, don't forget Dwyer. I mean, he's our third-line guy, and he said that's 4 of our top 9 forwards. Gerby on the quick up across the line. Top of the circle, lets it go into the glove of Enroth, and he will hold it there.
Nathan Gerby, former Buffalo Sabre, had a good year for Carolina last year. He got off to a good start. Got off to a good start this year, too. Had a good training camp. Always on the puck, always tracking it down. In that last play, they're just entering the zone. Didn't see anything in the middle of the ice. Just wanted to get it to the net. Got it a little high, though, and Enroth is able to catch it.
Faulk put it right to the crease. Covered up now by Enroth as Tulowitzki and Rask were right in the vicinity.
Ristolainen a little soft there in front of the net. Tulowitzki should never have gotten a second whack at this. Off the faceoff, Carolina doing a good job. Look at 55. Ristolainen gets in there and just doesn't quite get there quickly enough, not aware enough. You got to play a little man-on-man in front of your net at some point, and he was a little late on that one. Enroth makes a save.
In front of the Buffalo bench, Rask for the Hurricanes sends it back to his D. And Justin Faulk out here right now with a new D partner with Sekera in the dressing room. It's Hainsey out there, number 65, playing with him right now. And Faulk, interestingly, Brian, goes over to the left side, and Hainsey on the right. At least that's the way they are at his point on the shift.
Yeah, it's true. They're both playing their offsides. We'll see if that straightens out. Faulk normally plays the right side, like Andre Sekera. Hainsey, being left-handed, obviously can play both sides. There's a look at Ron Hainsey, who didn't have a great game in Game 1, and Bill Peters, his coach, was sending a message saying, we don't care if it's experienced guys or inexperienced guys. If we're not getting what we want, then we're going to make some changes. So he didn't play in Game 2.
Ron Hainsey, who played his collegiate hockey at UMass Lowell. A team that'll be on our college hockey coverage here on NBCSN in early December. They'll take on the Black Bears of Maine. As John Michael Lyle sends it back into the Buffalo zone. Strachan, who picked up an assist on the goal, plays it across. Benoit up the board. Center ice, the Hurricanes driving right back into the Buffalo end. Benoit with Terry closing in on him. Now Strachan had it knocked away off the goal stick of Enroth, and the Sabres got there to help out, but it's taken right back by Terry, and a penalty on the play, a hooking call. We'll get the call. I believe it's going to go against Terry when we come back, but on the 2-on-1, Foligno finishes it off. Buffalo with a 1-0 lead, and now the power play when we come back.
Buffalo's on the power play. Chris Terry gets called for hooking right there. Just a little bit of a hook on the hands. Even though he steals the puck quite nicely, he ends up in the penalty box.
First power play of the game, the Ford power play for the Buffalo Sabres, who are 0 for 8 in the 3 games they've played so far this season. A nicely set up one-timer by Myers, though, was blocked. Hands it off on the far side. Stafford, centering pass. Kane's got to it. And now McClement. Terrific penalty killer throughout his career, able to get it out to center ice.
Yeah, he did a good job of reading there, Dave. He came back to the front of the net because Tyler Ennis was just wading his way into the front of the net, but had a good bit, but Clement whacked it away.
You see the struggles of the Carolina penalty kill. Keith Jones talked about their power play going well in the first 2 games against the Islanders, which is a good thing when you got a lot of players out, but they haven't done it on the other side of the special teams, but right here it is cleared by McClement all the way back down into the Buffalo zone.
Yeah, Bill Peters wants to see them be a little more physical at the right time, and has duplicating coverage. Two guys trying to do the same thing. When you're already down a man, that is not going to work very well. And taking bad penalties, too, has hurt them.
Myers across the line will dump it along the boards behind Ward. Far side Faulk. Olsen challenges him. The puck comes free. The Sabres have it. Benoit chips it along now for Stafford. Stafford with Gerby on him. Stafford controlled backhand feed. Attempt was knocked away by Nash with a stick, and now Stafford recovers for Buffalo. Back to Myers. Stafford with a shot. Save made by Ward. And he got it all the way out to center ice with that save.
Yeah, that's taking care of any rebounds when you boot it all the way out into the neutral zone.
Now Georges starts it back. Hands it off for Cody Hobson, who sends it along behind Ward up the far side. Stewart set up the only goal of the game so far. Hobson trying to dig it out of there, and he does. Gets it back now for Georges. Watch the line. Hammers a shot, and Ward will save. Ristolainen with it now. Out of the box comes Chris Terry to a successful penalty kill for Carolina.
Carolina spent time in their own zone here, but they've only given really one good look to the net, and that was from Tyler Myers, who actually had the best bid early on, Dave, and he just didn't hit his head up, and he shot it right into Gleason.
Now Murphy plays it along the boards behind Enroth. Up the near side, Torrey Mitchell. That's a nice little short pass there to Gergensen. Ahead now for McCormick. To the middle of the ice. Murphy for the Hurricane sends it the other way. Just misconnecting there with Elias Lindholm. And now Mike Weber with it for Buffalo. And bounces off for Semin and sent right back by Lyles into the Buffalo zone. Taken here by Semin. Hands it off to Rask. Spins back to the line. Down Michael Lyles. Now for Rask again. Tried to pull it back. Gets it to the line. Lyles didn't have a shooting lane. Dumps it along the boards. Number 28 is there. High slot. It goes all the way out to the right point. Murphy. That's knocked down in front. Gergensen's trying to clear. McCormick will help out now. Cody McCormick angles it off the boards. And Strachan plays it back to number 8 for Buffalo. Taken down by Malone. Penalty, yes. And now tempers get a bit short as Strachan grabs a hold of Semin.
Cody McCormick with the puck on his stick coming out through the neutral zone. And Malone, the angle that he's on, as soon as McCormick clears the puck, Malone's in trouble. You automatically try to reach as a player because you know you've missed him, and it's a pretty easy penalty call there. This is the type of thing that got Carolina in trouble against the New York Islanders. They took badly timed penalties. They were poor penalties. The Islanders got a lot of momentum. They scored twice pretty quickly. And when you start playing from behind and giving up even more penalties, then you lose so much momentum, and it tires out a lot of your top guys.
This Buffalo power play is presented by Carl's Jr. Second power play for the Sabres here tonight. And they control the draw. Myers pulls the trigger. Save, and it's covered up by Ward. As Harrison keeping Molson to the outside.
Good face-off win by the Buffalo Sabres, and Tyler Myers again gets the first scoring chance on their power play. This time he has his head up and just takes the wrist shot. Does a good job of getting it through. There's a bit of a screen. The first time around on the first power play, he buried his head for a one-timer, and it ended up being blocked by Gleason.
Stafford wins the draw, bounces off Molson, recovered by Myers, sends it across on the far side. Stafford had it slapped off his stick. Molson jumps quickly to get back on the puck. Sabres send it around right side. Here's Tyler Myers with it. Hands it off for Ennis with a shot that was knocked down in front. And Toulouse breaking back shorthanded the other way. Yuri Toulouse cuts to the middle, gets the shot away and a left toe save by Enroth. Nifty move there by Toulouse.
Oh, great patience and puck skills by Toulouse shorthanded.
Crowd here at PNC Arena appreciating that effort by number 19. Now Falk able to chip it along for Nash off his stick. Ennis has it with a shot. That was blocked.
Nash couldn't handle it, and he blocked it.
Ennis down for Drew Stafford, trying to draw the puck to the front on his forehand. Much better compete by the Buffalo Sabres so far, Brian. No question about that.
No doubt.
Lead pass. Here's Gerby. He gets behind for the chance. And Enroth with a save. As Tyler Myers with that long reach bothered Gerby a little bit, who's still got a pretty good opportunity. The former Buffalo Sabre thwarted there by Enroth on the shorthanded rush. Hodgson is stopped by Ward. Now it comes to Weber. His shot and a blocker save. Rebound chance for Hodgson. It's up in the air. Knocked down outside the crease and covered up by Cam Ward.
Cam Ward with a big save there under pressure, but Carolina doing a fabulous job here on the penalty kill. Coming out of the zone, Riley Nash, who had blocked a great shot, and look at Gerby get going. Gerby knows he's got quicker foot speed than his former teammate Tyler Myers. He just blows up the middle, and Nash is observant enough to give it to him. Myers gives him a little bit of a hack, and Gerby can't put it in the back of the net.
The two guys we talked about right at the very top of the show, the two extremes in terms of height in the National Hockey League. As Gianta with a shot redirected and a save made by Ward. Now Hodgson out to the point, Myers. Gianta helps it along now for Stewart. Final seconds of the period, and the penalty ends to Malone as the buzzer goes, and Brian Gianta with something to say to Cam Ward with a little smile on his face. Coming up on the Lexus Intermission Report, Catherine Tappan, JR, and Keith Jones. We'll talk about Rick Nash. He stays hot, a goal in every game the Rangers have played, and he's a new dad to boot. And the Sharks enjoy unlikely offense, and they've been pretty good on the defensive side of things in the early part of this season. Both teams coming in looking for their first win of the season. And both teams were looking to score the first goal for the first time. Buffalo successful with that on the Foligno goal. 1-0 with the intermission report coming up. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection. And by the Mile High Bacon Thick Burger at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. And back here at PNC Arena, Raleigh, North Carolina, the capital city of the state of North Carolina. 1-0 Sabres over Carolina. Dave Schrader back along with Brian Engblom, and as the guys in the studio were talking about along with Catherine, the fact that this Buffalo team, much better effort in that first period, going back to a lot of what Ted Nolan said, you know, after the game yesterday, not strong enough, not committed enough. No desperation. He said that's what's the most frustrating. And Brian, it looked like there was a lot more desperation in the Sabres, but it is only 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. I thought they had a good first period as well, too. There was good tempo to the game by both these teams, but the onus was on Buffalo certainly to pick themselves up after their lack of effort yesterday.
Now Josh Georges plays it ahead. It's redirected by the goal scorer Foligno back into the Carolina zone as Ward plays it along for Harrison up the far side. May have hit the official there. A chance for the Sabres. Ward down, made the save. Wasn't sure where the puck was, and then able to sweep it all the way to the far boards. And that sends Nathan Gerby scooting back the other way. Enroth played it up the boards. Fired right back down and rebound, score! Riley Nash with the goal, and Carolina 30 seconds into the second period has tied the game.
Well, these two teams trade chances, but it's Riley Nash and Carolina that's able to capitalize on it. After giving something up, they come down with great speed here, and they just get the puck in deep and then turn it over, get it to the front of the net. Rebound control was an issue there for Enroth as it goes off of him and right out to Riley Nash. He's not covered closely enough by Weber. Nash's timing is just perfect. Enroth has to do a better job of controlling his rebound, though.
Alert play by Harrison, too, to get it right back on goal. As this chance by Lindholm goes all the way to the far side. Now Benoit pressured there by Lindholm. Harrison, he was able to stop that puck along the boards, Brian. Knowing that Enroth had played it, he just quickly got it back in the vicinity of the goaltender. Not necessarily expecting to score on the shot, but he created the opportunity. As Toulouse now hands it off. Lindholm, and that was deflected wide of the net. Now the Hurricanes again, but it deflects out to the high slot. Molson able to get it to Ennis, and he turns it back now. Tyler Ennis to the outside, and Gleason got a stick on that shot. And now the puck out of play.
Right before that goal was scored, Buffalo had a terrific chance. They kept the puck inside the zone. It'll go up around the wall, and then Foligno will be in the deep slot. The puck gets mixed up in the referee's feet, and then look at Foligno, who was all alone for a second, tried to make a nice play and actually did to Hodgson down low. But it was extremely well read there by Cam Ward and made a big save. And then Carolina went right back down the other end and scored a goal. 2-goal swing there.
Riley Nash, the Alberta native, originally an Edmonton Oilers draft pick. Played his collegiate hockey at Cornell, where he was the ECAC Rookie of the Year and a first-team All-Star in that conference back in 09. As a centering pass here, and Gergensen just failed to redirect it toward Cam Ward. Now with Weber pinched up, but Patrick Brown fails to get it by the stick of Brian Giunta. Hands it off for whatever. Score! Mitchell!
A stunning shot from a bad angle there, and Cam Ward just couldn't get a beat on it. But it was Brian Giunta turning the puck over. Brown coming out of the zone. You have to know who you're out against. He made a dangerous pass into the middle of the ice against an experienced guy like Giunta, who came across, took the ice away, makes a nice play down into the corner. And Cam Ward looked like he was still in the process of sliding. We'll get a better look here. It just plain beats him. He's over there in time, but it looks like it went underneath the catching arm and in the far side of the net on that one-timer. Nice play by Giunta, though, setting it up.
Yeah, a couple of Boston College guys, and the older guy taught the young guy a lesson, didn't he, Brian?
Yeah.
Now Gerby behind the net, speaking of Boston College. Now Nash hands it off. Seven with a shot, didn't get through. And Delorier trying to get it ahead to McCormick. Gets chipped back the other way. And picked up now by Nash, closing up with a wrist shot on a save made by Enroth. And now Myers plays it all on the far side. Seven will chase it down. His centering pass picked off by Delorier. And the big winger for the Sabres cleared it off the glass and out of play.
This Riley Nash line with Gerby on it and Simmons been good in this game. They've created some scoring chances, and Nash with that play off the wall just corrals the puck, gets a good shot, and then goes after his own rebound. Buffalo's got to do a better job of getting in front of him there. He shouldn't get that second look off that shot, but they've been quick. Nash is the one who set up Gerby for the breakaway in the first period as well.
Gerby played 188 career games as a member of the Buffalo Sabres, had 29 goals, 72 points there, and about 5 seasons worth of play there. Back to the line of shot here by Lyles. Skips wide of Enroth. Stewart able to get it back now to Benoit. Skip through center ice. Gleason angles it back the other way. Off the stick of Terry, and the Sabres Foligno drops it back. So just a minute and 23 seconds after the tying goal by Riley Nash, Corey Mitchell answers for Buffalo. And they've regained the 1-goal advantage on their one and only shot so far here in the second period. Benoit, stretch pass ahead now. Foligno to the middle of the ice. Hodgson with a backhander that was steered aside by Ward. Now Foligno battling along the boards. Puck comes free, and Murphy, number 7, for the Hurricanes, hands it off for Harrison, who chips it back into the Buffalo zone. Enroth doing a little directing traffic, and now Stafford hands it off. Foligno out of the zone, now up into the Carolina end. Drops it back between the circles. Victor Rask was there. Now Ennis for Buffalo. Tyler Ennis. Rask trying to stay within. Now Stafford from the right side, and Cam Ward covers that up as we go inside the glass. Here's Brian Engblom.
One of the things Carolina wanted to improve on after their first 2 games was their penalty kill. They gave up 4 goals against the Islanders, and they did a terrific job in this first period. This is shorthanded. Look at Yuri Salusti, nearly scores shorthanded. And then Nash turns the puck over, slides, makes a block, does a real good job there. Then that's Nash giving the puck to Gerby, and Gerby goes in on a shorthanded breakaway. So they put a lot of pressure on the power play of the Buffalo Sabres on top of killing it off really well. Good improvement there for Carolina's PK.
4 minutes into this second period, 2-1 Buffalo. Again, Buffalo coming in 0-3 on the season. Carolina 0-2. Both of their losses coming against the New York Islanders, who they hosted on Friday and then played up at Nassau Coliseum on Saturday. Buffalo with home losses to Anaheim and Columbus and a road loss against the Blackhawks in Chicago. Falk with it now. Through traffic, it hits a skate. Now Weber plays it back up the near side. Falk gets a stick on it again. Don't know if we mentioned it yet, but Andre Sekera, injured in the first period, will not return. Upper body injury, and the puck came off the stick of Molson, I believe, and caught Falk up in the face area. He's checking for blood, but he's going to stay out there to finish the shift.
Yeah, just as you're talking about one injury, another one happens. Falk looks like he's all right. A little bit of blood, maybe a trickle, but he's okay coming to the bench.
And Michael Lyles back to get it. Look out there as a steal. Again, it's Gianta, Brian Gianta. Backhand shot. Ward stayed with that. Now Gianta again. Chips it along. Chased down, though, by Carolina. Nash knocked away from him. Here's Girgensons. Emgis Girgensons played for the Latvian Olympic team in Sochi, and his shot is handled there by Ward. Girgensons played for Latvia, where Ted Nolan was his coach. Lindholm knocks it free. Here's Talusti. Talusti looks, he knows he has somebody coming. A shot here, save made by Enroth. That was Harrison that jumped up into the play, and now Gianta back the other way. Angled by Murphy. This puck into the glove of Cam Ward, and he will hold it there.
Zemgus Girgensons had a strong game so far for Buffalo. Watch him down low, just working hard, controlling the puck. Takes a little hit there from Gleason, comes out on the backhand, gets it in the paint. That was a serious, good situation there for the Buffalo Sabres. He showed him on the back check in the first period with some good effort there. They come back and break up plays, and a little bit of offense from Girgensons as well. Brian Gianta has been in the right place at the right time and several times in this game as well, too. Came off the bench on his last shift and got that scoring chance.
Thought it was terrific, Brian, that he came out and talked to the media, just specifically talking about the comments from his coach, Ted Nolan, after the game yesterday afternoon. And a stand-up guy and supported what the coach said.
And it's not fun for any player to have to answer questions after the fact when your coach goes off because you didn't have any effort. It's one thing to make mistakes, but when they didn't have the effort, that's what made Ted Nolan crazy. I heard JR in the studio say he doesn't mind that. I don't mind that either. Right. That is old school. But sometimes you lose guys when you put them under pressure like that.
Patrick Brown shot deflected off the end boards on the far side.
Playing in the NHL day in and day out, though, it's just not nice and tidy and comfortable. You have to be able to respond to adversity, and sometimes it's your coach giving it to you publicly.
The Dew Tour is back with a two-day event that spans coast to coast from Portland to the Big Apple. The Dew Tour Toyota City Championships this weekend on NBC and NBCSN. For Buffalo. Rask for Carolina, and McCain sent it down the ice. Going to be icing again. And that's Carolina.
Sam Reinhart will be out there for this face-off again. The son of Paul Reinhart, of course, who was a great player for the Calgary Flames for a long time. Craig Button, who does a lot of great work covering junior hockey in Canada for TSN, said if there was a Mensa Society for hockey, Sam Reinhart would be in it. He's got the IQ for it. I thought that was a great line.
That icing was on Buffalo, and that's why Reinhart and company had to stay out there for Ted Nolan. Did not make the change, but here's Rask with a shot that's blocked by Georges. Stewart upended there with a stick in his skate, but play continues.
You know what? Falk did a real good job. Falk went right at Stewart as he started to come out of the zone. It startled Stewart, and he lost his balance, and Buffalo ended up going back into the zone. We got an icing call here. They'll come back in the zone, but Justin Faulk playing up on the play. He didn't back off and let Stewart just waltz out of the zone. Good heads-up play. He's a smart defender. He's learning more and more. He's the youngest of a very experienced defense corps that I talked about, and certainly the most mobile.
5 goals, 32 points last year. Won a national title in his one and only season of college hockey at Minnesota Duluth back in 2011. Talks about that experience in his first NHL goal as his best hockey memories to this point of his now young NHL career. We'll have another Buffalo icing. Watch the NHL on NBC Live on your laptop, tablet, or smartphone with NBC Sports Live Extra. Download the app or go to NBC Sports/Live Extra and watch the biggest events anywhere, anytime. Stewart won that draw. Strachan clears it around, but not out. Lisa trying to get it back to the front. Now here's Gerby. Takes a quick look. Sends it along the boards on the near side. Lyles had moved up to the right point, and then circling back as Riley Nash to hand it off for Gleason, who dumps it right back into the Buffalo zone. Now it's cleared past Gleason. He and Lyles talking as they go back, and Lyles picks up the puck. Lino chasing him. And Michael Lyles plays it ahead. Chris Terry waits. Puck knocked away before he can make a play. And McClement center ice drops it back for the defense. Jay Harrison now slides it across. Lyles still out here. Jack Boychuk plays it ahead into the Buffalo zone. Shots are 18-12 in favor of Buffalo. Bouncing puck came out in front of the Buffalo net momentarily. Now high slot here is Harrison through traffic wide of the net. Comes out the far side. Murphy down for Carolina. Knocked away by Ennis. Boychuk steps into him. Held in at the line by McClement. No, he could not keep it in. And Buffalo regroups and now back on the attack into the offensive zone. Here's Tyler Ennis. Up on his toes. Takes a look out near the line. Harrison knocks him down into the board. Stafford steps up on Harrison. And now a shot on the angle. And Stafford is stepping in for the hit that Harrison put on Ennis, but you know, with that height difference, I didn't really see a problem with Harrison the way he finished his check. A couple of goals here in the second period. Nash just 30 seconds in, and less than 2 minutes later, Mitchell answers for Buffalo.
63 white is Tyler Ennis with the puck. Jay Harrison is tracking him. Ennis tries to cut back. He goes down. Harrison doesn't do anything wrong. He barely even touches him. In comes Stafford. I like Stafford's intentions, but it wasn't the right way or the right time. Harrison didn't do anything to hurt Ennis, and Stafford takes a 2-minute penalty there. That's kind of a needless penalty. You got to pick your spots. Yeah, you want to stand up for your teammates for sure, but it was needless for him to come in that situation when, first of all, Ennis didn't get hurt, and Harrison didn't do anything illegal to him.
This first Carolina power play is presented by Craftsman. Carolina with 2 power play goals in each of their losses against the Islanders to open the season, so they're looking for something here with a man advantage. Trying to get back even in this game as Toulouse had it roll off his stick. Finally it comes to Tyler Myers, but he couldn't get it by Rasmus. It played with a high stick. The officials say it was. The crowd here at PNC disagrees.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was a high stick to me either. And the unfortunate part is the puck comes all the way back into
Yeah, it looked like Lyles is motioning with a stick, like look ahead and maybe waist high.
I don't think that was a high stick even for Nathan Gerby.
And you're right, it's compounded because they are on the man advantage. So all the way back down to the Carolina zone for this faceoff. Seven across the line. However, takes care of him. Buffalo player went down awkwardly. That was Benoit. Now Gerby digs it out. Gets it out to Murphy. Sends it across. Harrison with a one-timer that sailed up well over top of the crossbar. Now back to Murphy again. Seven with a shot. Trying to pick the corner. Missed the net. Off the glass and trying to break with it is Foligno. He's got McCormick with him. And McCormick peels back and heads to the bench after that potential shorthanded opportunity dissipated. And now it's Harrison having to circle back, trying to get control as he's bothered by Molson. Now Ward clears it off the near boards. Gerby settles it down for Nash. Final 20 seconds of the Drew Stafford roughing penalty. Cleared by the Sabres all the way back into the Carolina zone. Falk back to get it. Bothered there by Ennis. Drew Stafford out of the box. Victor Rath fakes the drop pass. Turns back. Tried to send it across, but a good stick there by Ennis. Prevented that from developing, Brian.
Buffalo did a really good job in that penalty kill. The good intentions of Stafford, rightly or wrongly, they kill the penalty off, and that's the main thing. They didn't give up really anything.
Carolina player down on the ice, and now Lindholm trying to keep it alive in the offensive zone, but it's knocked away by Georges. Cody Hodgson slides it across, and Molson will flip it in wide of the Carolina net. 7:50 remaining here in the second period as we move along without a lot of whistles. Lino in the first period for Buffalo. Riley Nash in the second for Carolina, answered by Torrey Mitchell for Buffalo. And it's 2-1 Sabres. Benoit slides it across. Lino has to come back for Buffalo. Hands it off for Weber. Back for Foligno. Sends it ahead. Stewart redirects it into the Carolina zone. Goes in on Lyles. Getting some help from Cody Hodgson. Now chipped along behind the net for Stewart. Angles it off the boards. Georges with it. Send it in wide of the Carolina net. Now Patrick Brown trying to backhand it out of there. It's chopped at by Hodgson. Georges with a good pinch there on Malone, but the Hurricanes were able to clear. Meyer turns it right back the other way, and Gergensen will drive it back into the Carolina zone. John Michael Lyles. Pressure there, lost it. Out to the line, Benoit slides it across. Ristolainen tried to find Gergensen. Gergensen, good job to collect that pass off his skate to his stick.
And it was a good deflection by McClement. McClement saw the play developing, got a stick on it, so Gergensen couldn't get it cleanly.
Now Giunta out to the line. Ristolainen sends it back along. Gergensen centering pass. The Sabres got a stick on it. That was Mitchell. And here's Ristolainen again. The crowd here at PNC getting a little bit restless with so much time here in the Carolina zone. Back to the line for Benoit. Benoit with a wrist shot into the glove of Ward right as Giunta was arriving. So we will step away. When we come back, Brian will visit with Buffalo head coach Ted Nolan.
You weren't happy yesterday with your team's compete level. How would you rate it today?
But much better. I mean, it was almost like a night and day difference between last game and this game, and it's good to see. You know, we have. I never questioned the character of this team. We're just not playing the right way the first three games.
What would you like to see happen from here? And you're up 2-1.
Well, we got to keep it going. You know, game's not won or lost. We're playing a period in three quarters. We got to play the whole game.
Thanks, Coach.
Nolan also said this morning, I'd rather find out now. No camouflage when you play teams like Anaheim and Chicago, as he put it to us. He said to take nothing away from tonight's opponent, Carolina, but he said, boy, it really shows you how far you have to go if you don't compete against the real elite teams in the National Hockey League.
And it's the third periods that have really killed them. That's where they actually were in the games for at least part of it in those first couple, but against Chicago and Anaheim in the last two, they gave up 6 third-period goals.
Yeah,
so he doesn't want them folding, and they still have to deal with the third period here, obviously, but you know, as we've remarked, their effort level has been certainly a lot better in this game.
That's why he looked at the clock, Brian, as he finished his last answer to you. He said, you don't win anything for playing a period 3 quarters. Over the icing, a face-off here in the Carolina zone, and a whistle here.
Riley Nash didn't like that last face-off drop. He's played well for Carolina. Nash has really been involved.
This one is controlled by Carolina. And Murphy plays it ahead. It goes off the skate of Gervey, but recovered by Riley Nash. Now for Semin. Semin tried to pull the trigger on the shot, banned on it. And his second effort went wide. And Stafford able to jam it out to center ice. Matt Molson rolls it across. Tyler Ennis will lift it back into the Carolina zone. A bouncing puck is knocked down, and on the move here comes Gervey. Drops it back, a shot, and that just sailed wide on the glove side of Jonas Enroth.
Oh, did Harrison ever just whistle that wrist shot? Just miss it by a hair. Good heads-up talking, though, too. He was yelling at Gervey, I'm with you, I'm with you. So Gervey made the drop pass. Good setup.
Now Molson waited patiently for Ennis to get back onside, but the Hurricanes come up with the puck now as Falk sends it across. Gervey looks to the middle of the ice. He finds Semin to the backhand, and he missed the net. Had some room, and then Enroth had to scramble back and guard against that post for the centering pass from behind the net.
Semin's just not sharp. He's had 3 good looks at the net and has come away with nothing, not even a shot on net each time.
Rask across the line. Hands it off Lindholm with Benoit on him, and Benoit's going to get a penalty here as the puck comes off the boards and back out, and picked up here as Ward was starting to leave for the delayed penalty. And here's Semin, not a shot on goal, and a great opportunity. It's 2-1 Buffalo. Andre Benoit for Buffalo in the box. Signed as a free agent this past July 23rd after playing last season in the Colorado organization. Second power play for Carolina. They did not have a shot on goal on their first one, as Brian talked about the good job that the Buffalo penalty killers did. And the Sabres continue with their 2-1 lead. We get to the late stages of this second period. Gervey sends it across. Riley Nash. High slot, now out for a one-timer. The sails wide of Enroth. Murphy didn't get the shot he wanted. Semin plays it along. Gervey out to the line. Murphy again slides it across. Nash back to Murphy straight away. Hands it off to Gervey on the far side. Rink wide. Here's Riley Nash. Teams it up for a shot. And Georgia's got a piece of that.
Took too long to get it away. Riley Nash had time and room. By the time he set up for the big slap shot, well blocked by Weber.
Back the other way. Here's Semin. Closing into the face-off dot. Drops it in the corner for Gervey. Back for Semin. Semin with a shot here. And again, had to pick that corner, and he missed the net. Comes over the stick of Semin. Weber trying to get to it for Buffalo, but it comes free now for Murphy on the far side. Cody McCormick steps into him. Gervey centering pass. Semin. Oh, he went for the pass instead of the shot there.
Good stick by Foligno.
Now back to a one-time attempt there by Terry that was misfired. Sabres fail to clear. Far side one-timer coming. That was Semin. He got all of that one.
And hit Weber, though, because I don't think Enroth was in good position, but Weber made the block, and some tired penalty killers out there get off the ice.
McCormick hands it off for a shot on the angle. Ward the save. Gave up a rebound, but McCormick could not settle it down.
McCormick with some great work there, Dave. That's all shorthanded, but Carolina was also had some tired guys on their power play. They used that time to make some changes, so McCormick had a little room to work with down there.
Toulouse got a deep Ruotsalainen. Couldn't clear the zone. Back in front. It skips off the pad of Enroth, and he covers up just as Benoit comes out of the box.
That was a skipper going in towards Enroth there. But look at this shorthanded work here by the Buffalo Sabres, just controlling the puck, and then McCormick coming out of the corner tries to stash it in on the short side, and then here's the way the play ended at the end. That shot by Lyles skipped on Enroth just a few feet out in front of him. Those will make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
And that came, Brian, after the Benoit penalty had officially expired. So again, no shots for Carolina on that power play. Trying to put on some pressure here after winning a draw in the Buffalo zone. Hainsey forced to go back to try to play it. Slapped by Stafford. Falk back in his own zone. Again, Andre Sotera injured in the first period. Will not return. Upper body injury. He went hard into the end boards, trying to get back and defend on that first Buffalo goal. Here is Ennis now hands it off. One-timer sent just wide on the stick side.
Oh, that was a big save by Cam Ward. He got a piece of that one.
He did get a piece of it.
Yeah.
Now Brown backhands a nice feed out from McClement. Good stick, though, by Tyson Strachan as he played it defensively for Buffalo.
And back pressure by Molson, diving and swiping at the puck as well, too. I think he might have got a piece of it.
Ennis hands it off. Stewart turns. Backhands it along the boards. Bounces off the back of the net. Rask has it there. Less than a minute remaining in the second period. Each team with a goal here in the second. Buffalo had the only goal in the first. As Tyler Myers back to play this puck. Angles it off the boards. Foligno pressured there by Gleason. Now Georges. Jumps off the stick of Cody Hodgson. Angles it off the boards. Georges hands it again. Final half minute of period number 2. Lindholm finished his check on Georges now as Cam Ward plays it up the board, skips away from Foligno, held in at the line by Buffalo. And Stewart tried to feather a pass through. He still has it on the backhand. And a centering pass picked off by Lindholm, who starts it back for Carolina. Dozen seconds left in the period, and that's offside at the Buffalo blue line.
Oh, Buffalo had a great scoring chance there. Tyler Ennis had the puck coming down the wing. Watch this drop pass and the one-timer, and Cam Ward just got a piece of that and kicked it off wide, and then coming back the other way, Carolina gets a good chance as McClement goes to the front of the net, and that was a diving Molson coming back. I think was able to swipe the puck enough and hit McClement's stick enough that he lost control as he tried to cut into the scoring area.
Another example, Brian, of effort.
Yes.
You know, just doing what you have to do. Molson, a guy that's counted on offensively, but if you're not in a position to contribute offensively, do something. They may be questioning the clock here. Yes, they are.
It looks like it.
It appeared to me to run a little bit after the whistle had blown for the offside. So they're going to add another 1.5, which puts us at 9.8. Slides it across. Lyles plays it back into the Buffalo zone. Final 5 seconds of the period. It skips away from Gerby, racing after it. Mitchell tried to get to it, but Gerby denied that. As the second period comes to an end, we invite you to stay with us. The Discover Card intermission report. Catherine Tappan, Jeremy Roenick, Keith Jones, Canes hurt by sloppy play, and the Ducks continuing their trip out east, jump ahead in Philly. This game here, 1 of 9 in the National Hockey League tonight. And Catherine, JR, and Keith will get you up to date on everything else happening around the National Hockey League. Right here in Raleigh, 2-1 Buffalo after 2 periods of play. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by the Discover It Card. It's a game changer. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Remember back following the 04-05 lockout, 2 of the teams, Buffalo and Carolina, that seemed to take advantage of all the new rules that came into place. Buffalo and Carolina played an epic 7-game Eastern Conference Final Series, went to Game 7. Although Buffalo had some success there early, it was Carolina that won it. And of course, they went on to win the Cup. Carolina with players like Eric Stahl, Cam Ward was there, Justin Williams, Ray Whitney, Look at this. In the playoff years since 06, Buffalo's only won 2 series. It came the next year when they went to the conference finals and lost to Ottawa. Carolina's only other trip to the playoffs since that cup was in 09 when they won a couple series and then lost in the conference final to Pittsburgh. But there were some smaller guys on those teams. I started to mention Justin Williams and Ray Whitney, Finneganov, Drury, Briere, guys like that played for Buffalo and had success. But as well as it started in the so-called new NHL for these two franchises, it's been tough to sustain as Gerby now, a former Sabre, with a shot that's off the right pad of Enroth. Myers slides it to Georges. Odie Hodgson across now for Stewart. He signals to the bench after the puck goes by that he's ready to make the change. And this period, Brian, will be the test for Buffalo, won't it, based on what's happened so far?
Yeah, all the shots and the goals that they've given up, especially in the last 2 games.
Rask is tested there, and that just looked like it caught the top of his pad. They have been outscored 9-1, Buffalo has, in third period play in the 3 games they've played so far this season. Hainsey able to set up a redirection by Toulouse. They went just wide as Carolina putting on some of their best pressure of the game, sustained pressure, here in the Buffalo zone against Jonas Enroth. Now Buffalo on the counterattack. Here is Ennis, pulls up top of the circle, hammers one, and it's deflected up on the netting and out of play.
Good sustained pressure for Carolina. They had some very early in the game, but Buffalo really cleaned up their own end and were much more efficient through most of the rest of the first period and certainly in the second. Carolina comes down, gets a look at the net, and then Buffalo comes right back. Ennis looks in the middle of the ice, doesn't see anything he thinks will work, so he just pulls the trigger, and it's a good stick there by Justin Falk to flex it away.
Gleason stumbles a bit. Gianta tried to take advantage for it. It's a turnover. And tried to go up high on the short side there. It was Girgensons, didn't miss by much on Cam Ward. This line of Mitchell, Girgensons, and Gianta has played well for Ted Nolan. Sabres turn it back after Carolina tried to rush into the offensive zone. Now it's the Hurricanes that get control back in their own end. Swept off the boards and redirected by Boychuk deep into the Buffalo end. Just over 2 minutes gone by here in the third period. Sabres with a 2-1 lead in a matchup between teams each looking for their first victory of the season. Stretch pass attempt doesn't connect, goes down the ice, and this will be icing.
When your team's under pressure, you expect your leaders to step up and play well. Well, Brian Gianta has done that in this game. Gets an early chance on a long stretch pass and gets a good shot on net. Came out of his own bench, turned the puck over, got another bid on net. Terrific forecheck again, turns it over, and that ends up being an assist on the Torrey Mitchell goal. So Brian Gianta has done his fair share. Always has he stepped up over the course of his career.
Murphy with a shot right through, and Enroth able to hang out of that.
Oh, that was dangerous on many levels. Murphy was smart to keep that right on the ice. Should get a pretty good look at this. See all the bodies and traffic in between. Enroth does a good job. I'm not so sure that wasn't maybe even deflected a little bit, maybe off of Tyler Myers' skate. Nonetheless, Enroth tracked it and stopped it.
That face-off cleanly went by Semin, and Harrison back to get it. And talking to Bill Peters, the Carolina coach, this morning about some of these young guys coming up from Charlotte getting an opportunity to play in the National Hockey League. Is back the other way. Foligno scores! Just inside the post on the stick side. Foligno's second goal of the game. And it's a 2-goal Buffalo lead.
Buffalo doing a terrific job of getting the puck, turning it over in the neutral zone, and look how quickly that strike happens. Hodgson just takes the line. Foligno is smart enough to make sure the timing is good. Gets the pass from Hodgson, and there's enough of a seam there. Carolina defense had backed in too far, and what a rocket of a shot by Marcus Foligno, his second goal of the night.
The Foligno, Hodgson, Stewart line Accounting for 2 of the goals, I mentioned the Gergensen, Gianna Mitchell line. They account for the other goal for Buffalo.
When you turn over the puck in your neutral zone, a lot of times your defense will get stranded in their own zone, or they're not quick enough to play up behind the play. So you have to stop and start to back up, and you don't have any room and timing to work with. That's what happened to the Carolina defense there, and that's why Foligno was able to work that gap area, and his momentum on his shot. Oh, what a terrific wrist shot that was. He had a lot of zip on that one.
Now, Buffalo will go home after this one-game trip to play Florida and Boston. Then they go out on the road to play Anaheim, LA, San Jose, and then they come back east to play Toronto before hosting Boston again. So a face-off win here by the Hurricanes, and a shot right through, and Enroth able to hang on. I mean, there's no easy schedule when you're trying to come up from last place in the National Hockey League, but you start out 0-3 and you're on the road here for one game, coming home for a couple, one that you think you have a chance, and a battle against a rival like Boston before heading out on a long road trip.
Boston's a little ornery, and then going through California is never any fun.
Falk with a shot, change direction, rebound, chance, and what did that hit?
That was blocked by the defense in front. Good job by Benoit.
Now Stafford trying to get it out of there. Molson rolls it across. Ristolainen with it. He does get it to center ice. Now Falk hands it off. Lindholm tried to get it to the front. It was blocked by the Sabres and picked up by Ennis. He'll just angle it off the boards and out to center ice.
You can see the change in attitude for Carolina now that they're down by 2 goals. I mean, they are really starting to push it offensively. You can see Justin Falk moving up on the play there. Good puck-handling defenseman. They're pulling out the stops early. It looks like they're not waiting around for the last 5-6 minutes to get something going.
And again, Carolina, no Eric Stahl, no Jordan Stahl, no Jeff Skinner, no Patrick Dwyer. And Andre Sekera went down tonight to add to that list, not just of injured players, but quality players.
Sekera, for my money, is their best 2-way defenseman, and he and Justin Falk are terrific together, so that tandem broken up.
Now McClement starting it back for Carolina. Hands it off to Boychuk on the far side. Weber rubs him out effectively and then chips the puck along for Strachan. Off the stick of Gergensen, but he takes an extra swipe at it to make sure it comes out. Boychuk or McClement sends it right back in. Strachan sends it across. Ennis was offside on the play.
Buffalo's up 3 goals to 1 here. Alexander Semin, if he was sharp with the puck, they could be tied. Look at this on the rush. Unusual for him. Just plain fans on the one-on-one. On the power play, misses high and wide. Comes in here, point blank on the backhand, and the puck rolls off the toe of his backhand. They pay him to score goals. They pay him to be sharp with the puck. He isn't in this game. They need him to get sharp quickly and get themselves back in it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and magnified like everything else with all the offense inside of the lineup as we have a false start. We'll do it again. And before that Foligno goal, I was starting to talk about a conversation that you and I had with Bill Peters this morning. I said some of these young guys coming up from Charlotte, kind of reminiscent of what you went through in Detroit with your young guys getting an opportunity. He said, yeah, but those Detroit kids were a little bit more seasoned down in Grand Rapids. They had 2-3 years under your belt, what you're able to do when you have depth like Detroit's had for so many years. He said, we look forward to getting those guys like Nyquist and Tatar and Sheahan and those guys into the lineup because we knew they had paid their dues. He said, these kids, while it's a good opportunity for them, we don't know who's ready yet.
Yeah, Zach Boychuk, who is up with the team now, is that one guy that is ready. He led the league in goal scoring last year in the American League, and he's had a little bit of an experience. But you're right, Dave. I mean, you just have to be patient and bite the bullet sometimes. Plus, they had just played 3 games in 3 nights on the road in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Calling somebody up in that situation, not going to work very well.
Yeah, what kind of energy are you going to get from somebody in that circumstance?
Adrenaline's a wonderful thing, but you need the pure energy.
Yeah, exactly. Harrison now plays it back the other way. Ristolainen taken to the boards. Now Cody Hobson, who assisted on that second Marcus Foligno goal. He took a hit along the boards, did Hodgson, and now Carolina trying to keep it alive in the Buffalo zone. Malone with it now for the Hurricanes. Hodgson trying to keep him to the outside, angled off the boards out to Falk at the point. And to make a move here on Stewart. Falk closing in. Stewart, good stick there and broke it up.
Buffalo has to walk that line now of not sitting back too much. Even though they're up by 2 goals, they don't have to press it offensively and get caught. But they're starting to spend a lot more time inside their own zone again. And you can see a confidence level starting to grow here offensively for Carolina.
Now Foligno sends it deep into the Carolina zone. Ward plays it around. It'll be picked up left wing side by Yuri Tlusty. Now Falk will slap it back into the Buffalo zone. He was at the end of his shift, so he and Hainsey go for a defense change for Carolina. Turnover Buffalo, sent by Lindholm just wide of Enroth. Now Lyles will chip it along. Strachan moves it up the near side. Stafford trying to fight through a check to get a stick on it. Now Benoit out the far side. It doesn't come out. Here's Rask with it.
Great pursuit of the puck here for Carolina. Again, another strong shift. A lot of extra time spent in Buffalo's zone, wearing guys out.
Rask nearly able to get through Strachan with that little toe drag move. And now Tyson Strachan able to play it up the near side. Lyle sends it across. Gleason rolls it back in deep. Lindholm slapped away. And Foligno able to chop it back through center ice and back into the Carolina zone.
This type of play for Buffalo inside their own end really wears out your defense and your center ice. And the 3 guys that are down low working the corners, going east to west and grinding it out, where the wingers are up higher as usual and along the boards waiting for a break and filling in the middle of the ice when necessary.
Now Kirby sends it into the Buffalo zone. Gergensen sends it behind the net, taken away by Carolina. Quick center pass, a shot here by Kirby, was deflected away by Enroth. Well, he had to be alert on that one as this puck hit somebody up on the Buffalo bench, and it's out of play. 1 goal here in the third, 2:54 in. Foligno, his second of the game. Buffalo with a 3-1 lead.
12 is Brian Gionta. He's in good position defensively. He gets a pass that's hard to handle, goes off his stick, goes right to Nathan Gerby, and a big save by Enroth.
Dave Strader back along with Brian Engblom, our man inside the glass. Just the 7th day of this young NHL season. Two teams looking for their first win of the year as it's gloved along, but Georges couldn't get it very far. Carolina gets it back. Harrison slides it across. Ryan Murphy teams it up for a shot. Blocked by Georges. Rebound sent just wide of the Buffalo net. Well, pretty good chance there for Yuri Tlusty. Now Lindholm sends it far side for Murphy, who jumped into the play. And Molson just chops it back out to center ice.
Yeah, Georges had broken his stick, but no harm, no foul. He got one from Molson, and Molson was able to go right to the bench and get his.
Lindholm sends it in wide. Marius Lindholm on the cycle here with Tlusty. And up along the boards in the Carolina zone. Now Lindholm again. Now Murphy with it. Gets it back in deep. Comes to McClement. Line at the end of their shift, and Lindholm was going off the bench, and that puck was right in his skates, and it was picked up, and it's offside by Buffalo. Elias Lindholm, whose dad McHale played 18 games in the National Hockey League with the Los Angeles Kings back in 89-90. He was an 87 draft pick of the Kings. Elias's dad McHale was.
He could play center too. Good two-way player. Played some last season. Have a chance to build on that, especially with all the injuries Carolina has.
Had a couple of goals and 7 assists for Sweden on their way to the silver medal in Sochi. Now Boychuk along the ice, slid it just wide of Enroth, and Hodgson keeping it away from the stick of Hainsey, but good help there by Falk for his defense partner. It's sent back into the Buffalo zone. Ristolainen moves it around, and Stewart chops at it. Hainsey able to keep it in. Now McClement gets it back out to the line. Falk trying to avoid Foligno. Ristolainen trying to move it along. McClement got a piece of it. Now McClement back to the point. Falk, did he keep it in? He did not. So we will step away past the halfway mark of the third period. Buffalo with 1 goal here in the third. They lead Carolina by 2. Doc, Edzo Pierre, Wednesday night rivalry, Boston, Detroit, second meeting of the season between those original 6 rivals that met in the playoffs last year. Speaking of rivalries, Boston, Montreal, NHL Network Thursday, and then Brian and I next Tuesday in Chicago for the Blackhawks and the Flyers right here on NBCSN.
Boston will be a little cranky after losing to Colorado with less than a second to go.
Yeah.
Having a losing record so far.
At the line, held in by Falkhill. Sent it to the corner where it's picked up by Tyler Myers. He reverses it the other way. Mitchell coming down. Now Girgensons. Georges able to move it to Myers up the near side. Gianta came back. And bouncing puck back behind the Buffalo net. And Mitchell did not get it out of the zone. Seven got a stick on it. Alexander Seven. Trying to get it to the front. It deflects. And it's out to center ice, knocked away by Brian Gianta. He'll chase it down. Plays it around on the far side. Now Gianta again. Picked off by Hainsey. He slides it. Center ice and Kirby. Didn't get it very far. Tyler Ennis picks it up there. Ennis at center ice. Far side for Stafford across the line. Drew Stafford trying to make a move on Gleason. Lost his footing. Now Rask. Circle back behind the Carolina net. Gleason up the far side. Lindholm gets it out to center ice. Now Strachan for Buffalo. Weber lifts it ahead. And it's going to be icing.
Oh, that's a bad mental mistake there by Weber. You have to get to the red line. You're spending enough time in your own zone as it is, but coming out of the zone, he didn't see the pass he wanted. His job is to get it over the red line. If you're not going to make a pass, you can't just be close. He chips it and tries to go chase it himself, but he doesn't get there.
Yeah.
And it's another face-off inside the zone.
For Buffalo, wins it away from Nash to Carolina, but Carolina gets it back, score! Right back to the front of the net. And Chris Terry, number 25, will get the goal. His second of the season, just third in the National Hockey League. And Carolina back within 1.
Right off the face-off, Carolina has built momentum because they spent so much time in the zone. And Mike Weber, this one, a lot of it's on him because of that mental mistake. And he's late to get to Chris Terry in front of the net as well. He's headed towards the back of the net for support in the corner where he thinks the play is going. By the time he reacts, well done by Carolina to win the battle in the corner, get it out to Chris Terry, and they've narrowed it to 3-2.
Carolina Hurricanes goal scored by number 25.
So that'll get this crowd at PNC Arena back into it. Playing just his 16th National Hockey League game. Chris Terry, number 25. Sixth-year pro. He played only 13 NHL games his first 5 years. As a member of this Carolina organization, he was drafted by the Canes back in 07. Now Boychuk hands it off. McClement. Oh, good stop there by Enrock. Now back toward the front of the Buffalo net. It's deflected away, and Benoit's there.
You can see Buffalo got immediately uptight. They backed up, but what a shot by McClement. Enrock really bailed Buffalo out in that last rush.
Nash also getting an assist on the goal as it comes to Lyle. Sends it diagonal off the corner boards. Talusti gets a stick on it. Now it's played around by Myers. Lyons able to get a stick on a Rask. Sends it in wide of the Buffalo goal. Gleason able to hold it in. Got it back to the corner. Now it's knocked away. Talusti hands it back behind the Buffalo net. Hands it off. Good stick there by the Sabres. It was Georges that picked it off and sent it back into the Carolina zone. Hainsey with it. Weber pinned up along the boards. Puck comes free. Girgensons has it now for Buffalo. Girgensons had it blocked, but got it back into the Carolina zone. He'll chase it down himself. Now he sends it across. He has a man open. And a shot here set up just over top of the net.
That was in Delorier's feet. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't get it controlled because he had a chance from the blue line in big time as Carolina overcommitted along the wall.
Now Delorier again on the far side. Spins off a check. It's picked off by the Hurricanes' Lindholm, and he sent it softly enough back into the Buffalo end that it won't go far enough for icing. 5:25 remaining here in the third period. Carolina has pulled back to within a goal. Shots are now 22-21 for Buffalo. Ward back to handle the puck. Sends it around the boards. It bounces off of John Michael Lyles. He'll play it up the right wing side. And it comes ahead now to Terry. Takes it wide. And a hard check there by Ristolainen. Some of the crowd wanted a penalty. Now here is Seven with the top of the circle. Lets it go. Just missed the net wide. And that deflected off the netting above the glass is what the Buffalo players are indicating. Will step aside. Late stages of regulation. Chris Terry of Carolina has made it interesting. They trail by 1.
Let's take a look at the goals. Some of the goals that were scored in this game. And a 2-on-1. Nice feed by Stewart to Polino. That made it 1-0. Andre Sekera. Here's another look at the same goal. And look at behind the scene there. That's Sekera crashing into the boards. He did not come back into this game. Obvious difficulty. Then Marcus Polino again on a nice setup. Just ripped one in. That made it 3-1. And since then, Carolina's narrowed the gap to 3-2.
4:40 remaining in regulation. Lead pass down for Chris Stewart. A couple of other games around the National Hockey League have gone to extra time. Anaheim, Philadelphia, Washington, and San Jose. Boychuk across the line, hands it off McClement, bouncing puck in on Enroth. And he steers it aside as the Sabres on a second effort from Hobson able to clear.
That's the second good scoring chance for Jay McClement just in the last 2 shifts.
Hainsey with it now. Deflected away from Boychuk, recovered now by Benoit, ahead for Stewart. Drops it back for Ristolainen. He wanted to go back to Stewart. Knocked down center ice by Carolina. Nice play by Rask to get it through to Tuloski. Back to Rask, and he was hooked on the play, yes. Penalty coming against Buffalo. Torrey Mitchell protesting, but he will go to the box.
That's at least the third hooking call we've seen in this game. If you get in on anybody's hands at all, reaching at all, you get the call right away. A little bit of a can open there by Torrey Mitchell. He's just reaching way too far away from his body. That gets the referee's attention. Exactly what Carolina needed. Scored a goal, had some good scoring chances, and now a power play.
A power play that has produced no shots in the 2 opportunities that they've had in this game. And face-off, good battle by McCormick. Falk got in to keep it alive, though, for Carolina. Rask will drop it back to Falk now. He goes rink wide with it, a redirect pass. With an effort there by McCormick. Here's Rask, sends it across, but that's off the stick of Myers and out of play.
Tyler Myers has done a stellar job in his own zone. He's had an awful lot of ice time early on in this season. In his first couple of games, he was averaging about 25 and a half minutes. He's put in a lot of minutes in this game, too.
Draw control by Carolina. Lyles drops it back along the boards. Gets the return from Lindholm. Now Georges gets a stick on it. Georges is able to push it ahead, and Polino trying to get control to clear it. Lyles knocks it away. Now it's Tyler Myers that picks it up. He'll lean at it around the glass, and it's cleared out of there as Molson helped it along for Buffalo.
Yeah, that was a good play by Molson to stick with it and make sure it got out of the blue line.
Now Lindholm Pushes it around with exactly 3 minutes remaining in regulation time. Laid along the boards, Foligno bumping there with Lyles. Carolina has it back. Lindholm hands it off on the far side. Now Toulouse didn't like what he saw. Gets it back to the line. One-timer. Murphy knocked down in front of Enroth. Murphy has it again. 45 seconds left in the Buffalo penalty. Knocked down by Lindholm. Trying to move it along. Myers with a long reach, able to clear. Good job, though, by Lyles to get a glove on it.
But he's going to have to wait anyway, Dave, because all three forwards for Carolina are so tired they had to get a line change.
Now Gerby across the line with speed, drops it back. Seven got a stick in it, now recovered by Gergensen around on the far side, and Nash, oh, he did hold it in. Crossed out of Murphy. Recovered by Benoit, tries to clear. Hit off his teammate Gergensen, now out of the line straight away. A chance here, and Roth the save on Riley Nash.
Riley Nash walks in, but there's absolutely no screen, no nothing. And Riley Nash coming in, just taking a wrist shot, not going to score on Enroth from there. Because Carolina had all their players over on the wall. They turned the puck over nicely, but watch all the forwards. That's Gerby. Look at Gerby gets open for a pass. Riley Nash doesn't give it to him. That's just really a needless turnover there. He might as well have given it to Gerby, taking that shot from there with nobody in front of it. Just ends up in a faceoff.
5 seconds remaining on the power play. I wondered if Peters might think about pulling the goalie there with the little bit of time on the power play as it goes off the glove of Enroth. Now out in front, they score! They're indicating now the referee is saying no. Well, they'll have to look at that again. The couple of the Carolina players seemed absolutely sure unless they were really trying to sell it, and I thought I saw the netting move.
I couldn't tell from here, but it's that same McClement line again with another scoring chance. We'll see if it went in. It was Boychuk who took the shot. But Terry, Boychuk, and McClement have been outstanding the last 3 or 4 shifts.
Mitchell hammers one here, and Ward able to make the stop. And we're hearing from our folks in the truck that this puck is in. They will review it officially in Toronto.
There's Boychuk in front of the net.
Not there. That fooled the crowd when the net moved, but right here. Yep.
Yeah, that's right up and underneath. That is definitely in. The reaction was so immediate by the players. They know it goes right up underneath and up the inside bar.
And it's Boychuk.
Yeah, Boychuk takes the shot. Really good work, though. That was McClement, really quick. Chris Terry, really quick in the offensive zone. And terrific hands and positioning by that guy, Zach Boychuk, the leading goal scorer in the American Hockey League last year.
Now, Bill Peters talking about him coming up. He said, I don't necessarily need him to score. I want him to be a reliable two-way player. But if you'll score a big goal like that, Mr. Boychuk, yes. And now the official ruling here in the arena.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The fans don't need the referee to speak. They just saw it on the Jumbotron.
The clock is being reset to 1:48. We have a good goal on the ice.
It's interesting, Brian, because I was just making the point. There was only 5 seconds left on the power play when that faceoff occurred, but with under 2 minutes to go and a faceoff in the offensive zone, I wondered if Coach Peters thought about pulling Ward to have that extra guy out there to control it if they won the draw. He didn't pull the goalie. They got the goal anyway.
That line's been so good. He didn't need the extra guy out there. Just let those 3 guys work. Terry, Boychuk, and McClement coming through with a biggie to tie it up.
Carolina Hurricanes goal.
Well, the third period continues to be a problem for the Buffalo Sabres. Minute 40 still remaining in regulation here.
His first of the season, assisted by number 25.
Now, Boychuk, we mentioned, leading the American League last year, had a goal in 2 games played with Charlotte this season. So Terry and Dalton getting the assist.
Third period again, Carolina Hurricanes goal scored by number 22, Boychuk, assisted by number 20.
Cody Hodgson chases it down deep in the Carolina zone. Malkin, Foligno buck. Stewart gets a stick on it. Lindholm. Belusti able to get it out in front of that Carolina bench. Now it comes across. And Russell drives it into the glove of Ward, and he'll have to hold on to it.
Well, you look look the way the Sabres have played in this third period, and Dave, you're right, you bring up that point. They have struggled in the third period. And when it became a 3-2 game in particular, you could see them get locked up. Early in the period, they had a 2-goal lead. They had 1 foot going backwards. Then they had both feet going backwards, and that allowed Carolina to continue to build momentum. The 3-2 and then 3-3, they just kept coming at them. And now Buffalo's got to try and step on the gas offensively here and get something going.
Canes win the draw, clear it up the near side. Center ice, Myers backing up, hands it off to Georges. Georges lifts it high in the air. It comes down, picked up by Gianna. Good stick there by Harrison. And now Myers got a stick on it, but couldn't control. Riley Nash for McClement. Rolls it along the boards in behind Enroth to the far side. 35 seconds remaining in regulation. Now the puck comes free. Picked up by Jay McClement. Given a bump by Gergensen. Now Georges, 20 seconds remaining in regulation. Gianta pressured there by Gleason. Kirby lost the stick. Gergensen's able to come up with the puck, hands it off on the far side. Gianta out to center ice. Picked up by Gergensen. He'll just dump it in. And that is going to do it for this third period, in which we had 3 goals. The first by Buffalo to take a 2-goal lead. And then Terry and Boychuk answer for Carolina. So, Brian, we're going to get our first look at one of the new rules, the dry scrape, with both Zambonis coming out. And while the Zambonis start their work, we will step aside, and we will come back with the start of overtime between Buffalo and Carolina. And the reason we're going to overtime, this Zach Boychuk goal set up nicely by Terry.
Brian Engblom, guys.
All right, Catherine, thanks very much. Headed to overtime here. The Zambonis are off the ice, doing a nice job. Work in progress for all of these arenas around the league to get the ice ready for overtime. But Brian, let's take a look at the goals from period number 3.
Yeah, turnover in the neutral zone, and Marcus Foligno with his second goal of the night. They got a nice 3-1 comfortable lead, but they started sitting on it. Carolina kept coming right off the faceoff. A terrific goal there by Chris Terry. That narrows the gap to 3-2, and then it's Terry again. Watch this little cutback move in behind the net to Zach Boychuk, and the shot is so quick it's deflected up and inside the net. The play went on because they weren't sure if the puck went in or not. In fact, it did, and so we are tied at 3 and in overtime now.
Yeah, you saw the shots by period, an 11-2 advantage for Carolina in that third period. They did make a change and give that second assist on the tying goal to Jay McClement. So just like the second period, the longer defensive change for teams. 4 skaters aside, and the dry scrape providing a better ice surface in the hopes of settling more of these games in overtime before it gets to the shootout, as a couple of other games already have tonight in the National Hockey League. Myers off the boards and picked up by Gergensen. He circles back.
Buffalo had 2 shots in the third period, outshot 11-2. Now they got to try and step on the gas and get something going when they've virtually for the third period been sitting back in their own end. That's a really hard thing to do. Not impossible, but difficult, momentum-wise.
Now, each of these teams have their first point of the season, which will get the first win. Broken up by Torrey Mitchell, who has one of the 3 Buffalo goals. Foligno has the other 2. Benoit, stretch pass, Gianta. Gianta wrist shot, and Ward the save. He will hold it there.
Ryan Gianta has such a terrific slick delivery at high speed, and that was a good example. He took a look in the middle. He knew he had Torrey Mitchell kind of coming from behind him. He said, no, I'll just take the angle and take the shot. You could see why. It was a good decision. Had he dropped it to Torrey Mitchell, Mitchell would have been covered very quickly, and it might have been a turnover catching both of them. That's a really intelligent, defensive-minded play and a good shot offensively at the same time by Brian Gianta.
Sabres control the draw. Puck in the feet of Myers. Recovers to get it to Georges for a shot. Fought off by Ward. Sent to the near side. And Nash hits off the stick of Toulouse as the Sabres back up into their own zone. Josh Georges plays it around the far side. Myers. Good pressure here by Riley Nash, but Myers using that long reach to recover. He starts to back up the middle of the ice. Left side now for Matt Moulson. Chipped ahead, but over the glass and out of play.
Riley Nash is another one who's done a really good job for Carolina in this game. He was good on the forecheck there, and as soon as he sensed that Tyler Myers was having a little bit of difficulty behind the net, that's when you have to pounce. Again, this is 4-on-4 and a lot more open ice, and you have to cover more ice. You get caught in the offensive zone, and you're hightailing it back. It's smart by Riley Nash.
Benoit forced back by Gerby once, and now starts it back the other way, but Gerby slaps it off his stick. Now Harrison lays it back into the Buffalo zone. Rask is back there for Carolina with the Sabres regain. Andre Benoit hands it off now for Cody Hodgson. Hodgson across the line. And it's taken right back by Carolina. Gerby puts on the break, slides it across. Deflects into the Buffalo zone. Now it's chopped by the Sabres momentarily out. And now they recover with a lead pass for Cody Hodgson. Hands it off now for Stafford with a shot that's deflected up on the netting. And out of play.
That was kind of a broken play there and gave that chance to Buffalo. Jay Harrison, who's coming to the bench now at the offensive blue line, just kind of dumped it in. He probably should have held on to it, but he wanted a line change. Then couldn't, had to scramble back into position. And eventually, Justin Falk deflected this last shot up over the screen.
Jurgensen for Buffalo wins it cleanly back to Georges. Thought about passing it across. Now he does. And the shot by Myers deflected up in the air. Jurgensen's in the corner. One-on-one battle along the wall. Getting some help now for Stewart. Gets away from Falk. Now Stewart. Looks toward the middle. Good positioning there by Nash, but he couldn't clear the zone. Georges sends it right back in deep. Jurgensen's behind the net. Taken down by Falk. And Nash wheels back to get control here with just a minute 45 remaining in the overtime period. Falk plays it around, but it's blocked by Gianta. Gianta tried to set it up there for Benoit, but it was behind him. And back the other way with speed. Here come the Hurricanes. The centering pass. Good stick there by Ristolainen as he broke up the centering pass. And Toulouse turns it right back down for Carolina. Gary Toulouse with a shot that's blocked up off the inboard. Hit the back of the net, chopped all the way back out to the line. Harrison for Murphy. Ryan Murphy closing in. A little toe drag move, but Ristolainen timed it perfectly to go down and block it. Now Harrison for Murphy. Knocked away, picked up by Mitchell. Just over a minute remaining in the overtime. Gianta across the line, just sends it back in deep.
1 minute remaining in the overtime.
Less than a minute remaining in the overtime. Murphy across the line. Hits the shot away, deflected to the corner by Enroth. Now Lindholm for Toulouse. Rather Rask, and now it's come back to the near side, and Tyler Ennis will put it back into the Carolina zone. Ennis will follow it up himself. Now come back out high for Myers. Pulls it away from Lindholm, a long-range shot, and Ward with traffic in front, able to make that stop. And back the other way now comes Falk, 24 seconds remaining in the overtime. Falk the backhander, and he missed it on the glove side. Now Lindholm nearly lost it, and Falk has to come back center right to get control. 12 seconds left in the overtime. Pass ahead for Lindholm, doesn't connect. Georges hands it off to Myers. Myers center ice. And this overtime period is going to come to an end without a goal, and so we are headed to the shootout.
Cam Ward and Carolina Hurricanes hung in there when they were down by a couple of goals. Jonas Enroth has had to work hard in this game again. He's made some big saves and kept it at 3-3 where it is now.
Rod Brind'Amour On the right of your screen there, along with Coach Peters.
Well, for Buffalo, I mean, they're assured of 1 point. So they get off the goose egg, but you know, even if they win this, it's going to sting a little bit that they gave up the lead. But they want to find a way to get that one extra goal here in the shootout. And for Carolina, they can't help but think, okay, wasn't the best start for us, but we got 1 point. Let's go get the other.
Coaches don't have to submit a list of their 3 shooters. They just send them out one at a time, and it will be Alexander Semin that will be the first shooter.
And he normally is a shooter. I would expect him to make maybe a little bit of a move, but he's missed the net a couple of times on a few opportunities. He'd sure like to put this one in.
Semin against Enroth. First shot of the shootout. Hammers one at Enroth to save.
He tried to go for the crook of the arm. He didn't quite get it up enough up underneath the bar. You don't see slap shots very often. You do see them once in a while. He certainly got a lot on it, but Enroth came out and challenged well.
Matt Moulson, I did not say his name very much tonight, Brian. He did not have a shot on goal in the game. So he has an opportunity here against Cam Ward to give Buffalo the lead in the shootout. 13 for 27 in his career. Nice move, score!
Oh, what a fabulous hesitation move there. That was like a double hesitation move. Cam Ward was down early, wasn't quite sure what was happening. Moulson still had the puck, was very patient. That's a beautiful goal by Matt Moulson.
Now Chris Terry, who had the second Carolina goal to get them to within 1 at 12-11 in the third period.
The next shooter for the Carolina Hurricanes, number 25, Chris Terry.
Third career shootout attempt. He has scored on his previous 2. In on Enroth to the backhand, and did it go across the line? The officials are looking, and the one official is saying it's in. It got under the pad. I lost sight of it, Brian.
Yeah.
The officials are going to talk about it.
Boy, Chris Terry has got some slick hands. Watch how smoothly he manipulates this puck back and forth. Gets Enroth to open the 5-hole and then banks it in off the inside of the right pad. And because Enroth's momentum, goalies always come out and challenge, and then they back up with the shooter. He can't stop himself.
Oh, there it is. Good look at it there. Great shot from the truck. You know, the official on the ice was certain that he saw it, but you know, that first look we had from behind, you couldn't see the puck.
After review, it's a good goal.
So now it is Cody Hodgson who is up for Buffalo. Nearly 30% his career numbers. Hodgson with a shot, a save by Ward.
Cam Ward was really patient there. Hodgson came in pretty deep. Ward had his positioning, didn't really flinch much on this at all. Hodgson trying to go high glove. A little bit of a motion downward almost to bat it down, and it actually hits him in the arm.
The former Buffalo Sabre, Nathan Gerbe.
The next shooter for the Carolina Hurricanes, number 14, Nathan Gerbe.
A chance to give Carolina the lead and force Buffalo to have to score on their last shot. Hit the goalpost.
Yeah, you could hear that one cleanly. There was more room, it looked like, on the glove side. But Gerbe from in tight tries to go short side. Almost had it perfect. He had him beaten. Didn't beat the goalpost.
So now Tyler Ennis with a chance to win it. 33% success in his career on these shootouts. Ennis against Ward for the win. and he hits iron.
Ward didn't know where that one was. You see how he looked over his right shoulder? That was a slick little move by Ennis. Almost pulled it off. Difficult move to make. Move your body left, keep the puck out to the right. It's off the crossbar. Not in. Well, maybe a little piece of it there by Ward. That may have deflected off his glove a little.
Dave McClement hasn't done it very often, but he's converted 2 out of 4. Looking to give Carolina the lead. He comes with a little bit of speed. Misses his target, trying to go high glove.
Well, he wasn't messing around there. I couldn't quite tell if that puck flipped up on him. He just tried to rifle that one right up under the bar on the glove side. No, I think it was flat, but he caught it in the curve of the stick, got too much on it, and blew it right over the net.
The net shooter for the Buffalo Sabres, number 80.
Chris Stewart, a power forward, but pretty effective with shootout numbers in his career. For the win, saved by Ward.
Oh, what a beautiful toe save that is. Because it was a good, strong shot by Stewart, and those shots can really fool you. The follow-through, you think it's going to go high. It's right on the ice. Cam Ward seemed to know what he was going to do before he did it.
Victor Rask, 21-year-old from Leksand, Sweden. Never touched the puck. Okay, here we go. Against fellow Swede Jonas Enroth, who wins that battle with a right toe save.
Oh, the Buffalo Sabres wanted that. Didn't even want to give him a chance, but the referees are telling the bench he never touched the puck. It's a little embarrassing to overskate it, certainly, when nobody is on you. And I think that probably affected Rask's judgment as he went in. He made a so-so move, and Enroth probably as easy a save.
Marcus Foligno 0 for 2 in his career in shootouts, but 2 goals in the regulation game tonight. Another chance to win it for Buffalo. Foligno. A little kickstart fake there with the leg, and then he fired it too high.
Trying to get the goaltender to commit. Foligno trying to go up under the bar as well, too. We could see that Cam Ward did not flinch. I don't think he even had to touch that one. I think that was just cleanly shot over the net.
We go to the 6th round. Zach Boychuk, who was the regulation hero, tying the game with 1:18 to go. Good stop there by Enroth. Get a piece of that.
Jonas Enroth really using those goalposts well, isn't he? A couple have clanked off the iron. He's obviously got good position. These guys aren't seeing much. Enroth comes back. Nice positioning there. That one clinked off the outside of the post.
Buffalo with a few guys that are up around that 33% mark for their career. Drew Stafford. Another opportunity for Buffalo to get the extra point here. Moves it on Cam Ward. Another good save by the Carolina goaltender.
Ward showed a little bit of 5-hole open there because that's where Drew Stafford was trying to go with that quick shot, but Cam Ward snuffed it out. Dropped that left pad very quickly.
Well, Lindholm will be the 7th shooter.
And shooter for the Carolina Red Wings, number 16.
Lindholm trying to give Carolina the lead in the shootout. Save made by Enroth, and he gives a little emphatic celebration there.
He's pumped up, that's right. Another big save. Lindholm coming in, the right-hand shot coming in the left wing side. So his stick is in the middle of the ice. You could see he thought he had some room on that stick side, but didn't hit the target. And Enroth, a terrific job there with that blocker save.
Ryan Gianta, 37% efficiency in his career. The captain for Buffalo with a chance to win it. Oh, what a stop there by Ward. Great move by Gianta, and Ward had the answer.
Terrific reactionary save there by Cam Ward, because Brian Gionta did have him beaten. He had him down, he had him spread eagle on the ice, and that long left leg of Cam Ward right there. Oh, look at that. He's got them both covered. You want to try and beat me low? Oh, that first look was awesome. Post to post.
Jerry Chalustny now will try to give Carolina the lead, the 8th shooter. And it rolls off his stick. Didn't get much of a shot.
Those quick hands immediately in front of the goaltender with your head up. Sometimes it just rolls off. And you just can't quite control it.
Yes, Girgensons now. The Latvian with an opportunity to win this game in the 8th round of the shootout. Right up the middle. To the backhand, he scores!
One decisive move. Well done there by Girgensons. Faked like he was going to move to the forehand. Smooth move onto the backhand and got it up about 2 feet. Just enough over the pads. Well done by Girgensons for the win. Comes in, takes his time, drops to, feints to the left. You could see how he sold Ward. Ward thought he was going to that forehand side. Look at that good shift there. Beautiful backhand.
And the reaction on the Buffalo bench. They gave up a lot in that third period, Brian, but boy, a much, much better effort throughout than what the team showed yesterday afternoon on home ice in that 5-1 loss against Anaheim. 4-3 the final score in the shootout. In just a moment, Brian Engblom will have an interview with one of the stars of tonight's game. And so for Brian and the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Strader saying thanks for joining us. But stay with us here on NBCSN as we go back to the studio.